Okay, friends, we have heard from Bentley and Albert, and so they are hungry and ready for me to get in the kitchen. I do make their food homemade, and I want to take you on that journey today. I make them in batches of 3 to 4 days. They're very picky, so this allows me to switch up their recipes. One thing I did learn on this journey is that my pups, my doggies, they need supplements in their food. So I'm using, chicken and veggies and fruits, but that's not enough. Dogs require a different supplement. And so in my research, and this is not sponsored by no way, I'm using Just Food for Dogs as the supplement. It's basically just kind of a powder that you'll add in, along with I do add some fish oil into the recipe, and I'll show you that. Now I want to move into sharing with you some of the, or all of the tools that I use when preparing so that we can start preparing their meal. Okay, the first thing that I like to do is get my rice started, and for this recipe I'm making half of the recipe, which will last me about 3 to 4 days. And I'm going to take 12 ounces of rice, which is a cup and a half, and I'm going to cook it first because it's going to take about 20 minutes and it allows me time to fix everything else. I take 3 cups of water and I place it into my pot, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. Once my water gets to a boil, I then add my rice. And then what I do is I give it just a little quick stir to just make sure it's broken up in there, nothing too deep. And then I turn it to low and I simmer for about 20 minutes, but I make sure to put a lid. Okay, so the recipe calls for 4 ounces of spinach, but I like to cut up the spinach, chop it first before putting it into my scale because I want it to measure 4 ounces as chopped. If I put it in before I chop it, the measurements may be off. And so with my chopper, I simply just I love this chopper because I just tuck the food under, and you can really use a food processor also. And then I just begin chopping. So now that I have my spinach finely chopped, it's time to move on to the carrots. Okay, friends, so with your veggies, you want to make sure that they're thoroughly clean, or I like to purchase them cleaned, ready to eat. So I'm going to cut them down, and I need 4 ounces of carrots. I also need 4 ounces of either a green or red apples, and I do switch up between the green and red. The key thing about the apples is making sure that you do not feed your dog any of the seeds because that could be dangerous to them, so make sure you don't get any of the seeds in the food. So I'm just going to cut up slices and then chop and make sure that I get 4 ounces worth of apple. So So now that we have our veggies chopped and the rice has finished cooking, and with your rice, what you can do is just follow the instructions. If you're not a cook, just follow the instructions on the package of your rice. It's usually 2-to-1 ratio. If you want 1 cup of rice, you'll have to add 2 cups of water, and then it just simmers on low for 20 minutes after the water comes to a boil. And so I put the rice into the big bowl, which I'm going to mix everything in this bowl, but I put the rice in this bowl because it needs to cool. So it can be cooling while I prep the meat. So the final thing to prep is the meat. So I'm going to go prep that, and then we can cook the meat and then blend this beauty together. Okay, so friends, I put on my actual cooking gloves. These are disposable cooking gloves that I use when I'm dealing with meat a lot of times. And so for this recipe, it calls for 4 different parts of the chicken. So the first part is 18 ounces of chicken thighs, which are skinless and boneless, and we dice these up. Along with, we have our chicken gizzards back here, and these are actually 10 ounces of chicken gizzards is what you need for the half recipe. And then we have 3 ounces of chicken gizzards, and everything is going to be diced. Then we have chicken thighs again, but these are actually with the skin. So with this, you actually need 10 ounces. So I'm going to chop it all up, measure it out, and when I cook this, I will cook them all together in one swoop. So then I just add all of the meat into the pan over medium-high heat, and I'm just going to cook it all together until I brown the meat. Okay friends, I'm going to put all of the meats in the skillet together over medium-high heat, and I'm going to cook until it's pink before adding in the vegetables. While the meat is cooking, I do take my cooking shears and I go through and I chop them up to the size that I know are perfect for my pups. It's easier for me once it starts cooking to go back in and kind of make my final adjustments to the size of the meat. So while the meat is slightly pink, you want to add in all of your spinach and carrots and apples, and you're going to saute and cook until the veggies are soft. Friends, this is always the fun part for me, seeing the mixture come together and I love all the colors of their food because it's the veggies with the meat all mixed together, and it looks actually very yummy. Okay friends, so as you can see, it's cooking away. We're almost done. The next step is just to blend everything together, add our supplements in, add our fish oil in. Basically, I like to mix it first and then let it cool. So once everything has cooked, you want to add it into the bowl with the rice. And we are almost done, friends, and it looks actually so delicious. And it's so rewarding being able to know what ingredients are going into my little pups' bodies, and that I'm taking real good care of them. And so I'm going to add all of this in. I'm going to mix it well, and then I'm going to let it cool for a little while before I add in the fish oil and their supplement. So I want to make sure that it is well mixed and that all the rice is incorporated throughout the chicken and the veggies. And so I will make sure to mix this well, and then I'm going to let it sit and cool before, like I said, adding in the fish oil and their supplement. Okay, so now that the food has had time to cool, I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of omega fish oil, and I'm just going to sprinkle it around, and I'll just simply mix that in to the mixture. And then I'm going to add in their supplement. I have added in my supplement, and now I'm just giving it a toss to get everything well blended, and we are good to go. So now it is time to serve up their food. I have this little dish that I have allocated for them as their little server so that we can make it special for them. And I just put the portion size for my pup in here, and I just take a measuring cup and you put it in here and you just kind of press it down a little bit just to form it, and then so that I can put it over their bowl. And this is just something fun to do as far as presentation. So friends, then just to have even more fun for Mr. Bentley and Albert, let's garnish their food with just a little scraps of apple and carrots and maybe a little touch of spinach just to have fun. More fun for me than them, but hey, gotta have fun, right? My apologies, friends. It started storming really bad, so it got dark and you may hear the thunder. But this is their completed meal, so I'm going to call them down and see what they think. So let's get this party started. Okay, friends, I apologize again for the storm. It's storming really bad here, and the lighting went along with it's a little loud. But here is how I store their food. I use these glass containers here with the plastic lids, and I store the food, of course, in the refrigerator. But this makes it easy for me to get out and just kind of dip out the portion sizes that I need for them. And these are specifically theirs, and we have a spot in the fridge, which I can show you actually. So we have this drawer in our fridge, and this is Bentley and Albert's drawer, and this is where I keep all of their food. So after I prepare it, you can see we have a little bit of leftovers here. And so this is where all of their food is stored, and this is how Mike and I know that anything in this drawer belongs to our pups. So they have their own drawer in the refrigerator. So friends, I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I fixed for Bentley and Albert. If you like these types of videos and you want me to start incorporating a variety of recipes that I fixed for them, I would love to share that with you. Just click that like button. If you're not subscribed, Bentley and Albert would love for you to subscribe to their channel. They're going to bring you a lot of craziness and fun. And so we hope you will join in with the Bentley and Albert family. Have a beautiful day, my friends. And from Bentley and Albert, they say goodbye.